Pop quiz. What's the most powerful empire in history? Maybe the British? They conquered a quarter of the world, dominated the seas. The sun never set on their land. But Britain didn't die from success. Maybe Rome? Expanded for 500 years, built a civilization that shaped the entire Western world. But Rome fell slowly, at twilight. Maybe the Mongols? The largest land empire ever. But it shattered not from wealth, but because nobody could agree on anything. No. The answer is the Spanish Empire. Spain, the country that built the greatest empire of the 16th century, spread across 4 continents, collected America's gold, held all of Europe in fear, and then died. From its own success. From expanding so fast it literally choked on its own size. This is historically facts. The story of an empire that won a war against the world and lost a war against itself. Before we talk about how it died, we need to understand how it lived. Let's go back to 1469. Spain was a small, worthless country, torn apart by Muslim kingdoms in the south, Christian kingdoms in the northwest fighting each other, and nobody thought anything important would ever happen. But then something happened that happens in all good stories. A wedding. Isabella of Castile and Ferdinand of Aragon got married, 2 kingdoms united, and instead of continuing to fight each other, they decided to fight someone else. First, they finished Muslim Granada in the south, completely wiped them out. 1492. Granada fell, and instead of saying, "Well, we're done, time to rest," Spain looks west and sees an ocean, and Ferdinand meets this Italian guy. His name is Christopher Columbus. Columbus says, "Give me 3 ships and I'll find a route to Asia going west." Ferdinand says, "Okay, but we don't have money." Columbus says, "No problem, I'll talk to the Portuguese." And so Queen Isabella literally sells her jewelry to finance this guy. Why? Because she intuitively understood one thing. If Columbus finds a route, Spain will be the richest country in the world. Turns out Isabella was right, but not quite. Columbus didn't find Asia, he found America, and America had gold. So much gold that the Spanish brought back so much treasure to Spain that it literally changed the global economy. Gold prices crashed. Everything else got expensive. But Spain didn't care. It had gold. So much gold it seemed like it would never end. And here's where the problem starts. Because Spain's success was too fast, too sudden. King Charles V, Ferdinand's grandson, doesn't just rule Spain. He rules half of Europe. He's Duke of the Netherlands, King of Naples, King of Sicily. He controls massive territories in Germany. His empire is so large that the sun literally never sets on it. In the morning, sunrise over his American colonies. At noon, shining over Spain. In the evening, lighting his Asian territories. But here's the trap. Managing an empire this size is like trying to put out a fire with your bare hands. His son, Philip II, inherits the throne and looks at the map and thinks, "I have to protect this. All of it. Every inch." And so, Philip II starts fighting. Everyone, at the same time. Wars are expensive. Insanely expensive. So the Spanish king does what all kings do when they are out of money. He prints more money. He sends ships to America, fills them with gold and silver, and brings that gold back to Spain. But the problem is, the gold he's printing isn't money. It's literally gold. And when gold floods the market, it stops being valuable. Prices rise, inflation goes crazy. And so Philip II is sitting on a mountain of gold, but that gold doesn't buy anything anymore. It's like being the richest person in the world, but your money stops working. But Philip II doesn't stop. He thinks, maybe we need even more gold? Maybe we need to conquer more land? Maybe we need bigger armies. And so he sends the Spanish Armada against England. Spanish fleet against English fleet. This should have been a formality. Spain owns the seas, England's a little island. But the English fleet destroyed the Spanish Armada. Almost completely. And so the great maritime power that dominated the Atlantic suddenly realizes it can't control the waves anymore. By the end of the 17th century, Spain is like a boxer who keeps throwing punches even after he's already fallen. Its fleet is destroyed. Its armies are exhausted. Its treasury is empty. And its neighbors, France, England, Holland, are watching and thinking, maybe we should take a peace. And they do. France takes chunks of Spanish territory. England takes Gibraltar. Holland takes Spanish colonies in the Caribbean. And so the Spanish Empire, which was the greatest empire in the world, becomes a medium power. Not bad, but not great anymore. There's something tragic about this. Spain didn't die from invasion, didn't die from rebellion. It died because it was too successful, expanded too fast, conquered too much, and so its own size suffocated it. That's historical irony. We often think that empire collapse is a dramatic event. The last king dies in flames. Enemies storm the walls. But actually, the most powerful empires don't fall because of enemies. They fall because they can't control themselves anymore. The Spanish Empire ruled 4 continents: Portugal, the Netherlands, Italy, half of Europe, all of America, parts of Asia, all under one flag. But under that flag were so many different cultures, so many different interests, so many different wills, that no center could hold them together. The empire became bigger than any single person could manage. And here's the morale. Success is a trap. Victory, conquest, expansion, it's all a trap. Because every new territory needs resources. Every newly conquered city needs a garrison. Every new province needs an administrator. And so you start spending more protecting what you already have than developing what you need. You become a victim of your own success. Spain taught us this lesson in the 16th and 17th centuries, and we still haven't learned it. Today we see the same thing with tech companies. They grow too fast, become too big, and then they start collapsing under their own weight. Their bureaucracy suffocates innovation. Their size prevents adaptation. Their success becomes their enemy. The story of Spain is a story about defeating an enemy, but about losing to yourself. And that, people, is the story about how greatness is a temporary condition,